Hi, my name is Nick Dickinson. I work for IRC, and I'm working on monitoring and information technologies. I'd like to tell you about one of the projects that we're working on in Ghana at the moment with the Community Water and Sanitation Agency. So the project comes out of work that we've been doing for at least the last 5 years in Ghana. We've been working with the Community Water and Sanitation Agency on a project called Sustainable Services at Scale, or SSS for short. And in that project, we looked at a number of different aspects of the sustainability of water supplies and water services specifically in Ghana. So if you just look at the facilities, then you might see that about a third of facilities are not working at any point in time. But when we started looking at what we called service levels and measuring the actual level of service over time that people are receiving, the variation is much greater, and it can go from almost no one receiving a basic level of service to perhaps 50% of people receiving a basic level of service. And what we realized is there's a much bigger systemic problem than just the broken down facilities. And we worked together with the agency then in Ghana to actually go to 3 districts and pilot new ways of monitoring and assessing services. As a result of the work that we did over the last 5 years with the Community Water and Sanitation Agency, they have now published a new framework. And this framework basically defines for the entire country how monitoring should happen. And it's a framework that's based on the experience at district level, and it's really aimed also at districts, so that, in principle, they should have, the tools and the information so that they can also respond to problems with sustainability. And we didn't just look at the services, we also looked at the performance, let's say, of the people who are providing the services. So we could also say something about, it's clear that they haven't been trained. Maybe that's one of the issues that's facing sustainability. But now, the key issue that we're facing now is how do you monitor across the whole country? It's great to do 3 districts, but that needs to happen in all districts in the country. In SMARTerWASH, what we've done is we've actually taken this monitoring framework and started to collect the data in different districts across the country. We're now collecting data in 6 regions out of 10 regions in the entire country. It's a very large-scale project, and the intention, of course, with the monitoring framework is to cover the entire country. But this project gives it a nice jump start. And together with the Community Water and Sanitation Agency and UCFO and Skyfox, we're looking at all the different information systems that are required in order to make this happen. DIMES is the district monitoring and evaluation system that CWSA has been working with over the last years. It was in an Access database, and that was quite difficult to decentralize to all the different districts. So now in the project, what we've done is we've started working with some other tools that complement the DIMES database. So one of those tools is UCFO Flow that was being used for mobile data collection. And another tool that we're integrating into the monitoring system, although it is another tool, is the tool that Skyfox is using for their service, which is essentially making it easier to repair water supplies and to buy spare parts. They, in fact, earn their money from selling spare parts. But that said, the information from their system then gives some more real-time information that we can use to complement the monitoring information. All in all, what's happening is we're covering 6 out of 10 regions in the country, and there are more projects coming along the way. We're learning how to integrate different information systems together, and frankly, that's the future. Now, the challenges that we're facing are the same challenges that I've also seen in other countries while working on national monitoring systems. So one of the key challenges is that, for example, you need data that isn't just the data that you can collect in the water sector. You need data on population. And population data comes from, for example, the census. And in Ghana, the census data is collected by the Ghana Statistical Service. So that means CWSA, the Community Water and Sanitation Agency, is dependent on the Ghana Statistical Service to provide that information. But it becomes trickier because then the information from one census is not necessarily mapped to the information from the last census. So you have a certain set of villages in one census with a certain set of water supplies and services, and then the new census might provide information about new places. And you're not quite sure if the water supply is in place A or place B. So one of the key challenges that we're facing in Ghana, but also in other places, is really just how do you match population information with information about water services or about the performance of suppliers and water service operators and how many people are they actually serving. So that is one key challenge, and there are innovative solutions. In Ghana in particular, they combine different data sources, and it's really about a process of making it match over time, and we're getting there incrementally. I think really what's interesting about this project is we're working on one hand with the local company which has built the DIMES database, and they're still involved in the project. And we're working with another company in the Netherlands who have developed a mobile data collection tool. And we're working with another private sector company in Ghana who have this spare parts supply scheme where more or less they sell spare parts and they help improve communications about breakdowns between area mechanics and communities. So in that, we actually have, if I counted it right, we have the database, we have a mobile data collection system, and we have the private sector system. So we have three systems there that have to work together. And then you've got the data from the statistical service. And then there's another World Bank project which is coming up, which has to integrate the data not just for rural water supply, but also urban water supply. So it shows that basically the last key challenge is how do you make all these systems interoperable? How do you get them to talk together? And I think what we've shown in this project is that it is possible. We can do it. It's through good working relations. And that's what IRC does, and I think what we've done in Ghana. And there are other countries where we're working now, where we're finding that indeed working with different suppliers, having a local database, but also having cloud systems which provide reliable services, whether the connection is good or not, is really critical. So working together, that's the way that we're going to make these monitoring systems succeed, and it's a long-term endeavor. And I think that's what IRC stands for.